7 o'clock, we'll call the village board meeting to order. If everyone would rise to say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Marevka. Here. Jones.
Here.
March.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Ham.
Here.
Bowden.
Approval or corrections to the minutes of the August 26, 2019 regular village board meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion by trustee Marevka, seconded by trustee March.
Marevka.
Yes.
March.
Yes.
Jones.
Present.
Parker.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
And Bowden.
Yes.
Accounts payable and payroll. Payroll pay period ending 8/24/19 in the amount of $58,893.36. Accounts payable general fund 108,980.14. Motor fuel tax fund 28,416.14, giving a total of all funds 137,396.28. Are there any questions on any of the bills? If not, a motion to pay the bills and the payroll.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second,
Second.
motion by trustee Ham, seconded by trustee Parker.
Ham.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Marevka.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
March.
Yes.
All right, public comment and or questions? No public comment, we'll move on to reports of committees. No village administrators report, no police chief's report, how about an engineer's report?
I have nothing to report.
Wow, okay, good. No old business, we'll move right on to new business. Item A, 2019 sidewalk project payout request, number 1, J.J. Newell, in the amount of $52,176.37.
Yes, this is for the 2019 sidewalk program. JJ Newell finished the work. It was reviewed by our resident engineer and public works director. So this is to pay them. They finished all the work, but we are holding 5% retention like we typically do, to make sure everything's good over the winter and the end of next year, so. That's all it is.
Any questions or discussion? If not, entertain a motion to release payment to J.J. Newell in the amount of $52,176.37, keeping the 5% retention as stated.
Motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Jones, seconded by trustee Marevka.
Jones.
Yes.
Marevka.
Yes.
Bowden.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
March.
Yes.
Item B, ordinances. Number 1, an ordinance amending Title 15 Land Usage, Chapter 150, Section 157.037, fee for fence variations. I think this came out of building committee?
AOC.
AOC, sorry. Do you want to comment on this at all?
No, we just thought that there is some administrative labor that's involved with these fence ordinances, and we just thought we would attach a small fee to it so that, we can maybe recover some of our costs for those.
And I think it's $25, correct?
Right.
That's non-refundable, no matter what.
Yeah.
So we didn't have anything in the,
No, there was no fee for a fence variation because that went to the board, rather than P and Z. So for a long time, there's been no fee, but as Dr. Mike says, there is certainly a cost, and we're certainly doing a fair number of
no,
fence
exactly.
variations.
$25 might cover the copying costs or something. so.
Probably, yes.
Great. Any questions or discussion?
How did you decide on 25 instead of something else?
We didn't want to make it onerous to the homeowners. We talked about $100 or $75, then we just thought it was 25. So,
I mean, it's very small. I mean,
Exactly.
in the realm of fees, instead of probably would cover maybe the cost of the paper and the copy,
Right.
so. Any other questions or discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 19-35, an ordinance amending Title 15 Land Usage, Chapter 150, Section 157037.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
motion by trustee Bowden, seconded by trustee Parker.
Bowden,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
March,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Maravka. Yes.
Number two, an ordinance amending Title 15 Land Usage, Chapter 153, Signs and Awnings in the Village of Peatone Code of Ordinances to establish a fee for variance applications.
Mr. Mayor, may I say something?
Yes, please.
My copy, and I prepared the ordinance when I sent it out, does not have the amount of the fee in it. And when I sent it out, because I wasn't told what fee was going to be, I thought it would probably be the same $25, but I don't know.
No, so we had the discussion at AOC that we thought $100, because there is more involved with this, and it is for a business, so that's what we want to set the fee at 100, right?
Yep.
So that should
What
be
exactly is it
inserted.
for?
So we'll insert in that
100.
blank where it says the fee for the variance application is,
100.
that would be $100.
So this is for right now, with our village ordinance, for a business to have a sign, they have to come in and get it approved, correct?
Yes, this would be for the variance though, not the sign permit itself. If the
Right.
sign was in accord with what you've already approved, then
Correct.
it would just be the permit, whatever
Right.
that would be. This is
Just for a variance.
for a variance, yes.
What would be an example of that variance?
Oh, there would be quite a bit, and I've already mentioned to Amy, I might as well mention it to the board too. The sign ordinance that we have was never geared for a interstate business such as the truck stop. We have no provision that would allow a tall sign saying truck stop. And I mentioned that we should probably take a look at that. We mentioned this to Patel, through the annexation agreement, and requested that he tell us what kind of signage he was planning on. He said he didn't know, he never did, and then we said, okay, in that case, you're going to have to take your chances with the board. When it comes to that, you're gonna have to come into this board and convince them as to, the approval of any signage that you want. Meanwhile, I think it's probably going to be best, we could do a variance for that kind of sign, or alternatively, we could actually add a provision for that kind of,
Which I think is
Yeah.
something that we need to look at.
the
It's
sign.
not only that business, but we're gonna hopefully have some other businesses in that I-57 corridor
Yeah, right.
that are gonna need to be signed.
Yeah, right now, the signs are designed for a downtown, such as our downtown, small businesses on Governor State and that sort of thing. Both in terms of size and all that sort of thing. So they could not really get, under our current ordinance, an appropriate sign for that truck stop.
Like the sign we've got at McDonald's and Circle K. Does that fall within our ordinance or those variances?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I would assume possibly a variance.
Variance.
I know like the sign at Fire Pit and at Tony's, I believe both of those required a variance,
Or
lighted
they,
signs.
or they had it through an agreement, either a development agreement or
Right.
or the annexation.
When it was built.
Usually McDonald's will do that, when they come in, that's one of the things that they want approved. And if you've seen in some of the neighborhoods, I remember Hinsdale, because we had a big fight with them there, they only let them have a little sign, they don't let them have their,
Frankfurt too,
yeah, and
monument sign.
yeah, there was a big argument about it, but bottom line is, I know for a fact, because I looked at it a month or so ago, that there's nothing that would handle what's gonna go out at the truck stop. And you know how you go up the hill coming on 57, proceeding north on 57, you can't see, you know, anything. You'd either have to put a sign, you know, back. If you're gonna put it on the property, it would have to be 50, 75 feet tall.
So anyway, Mike, to answer your question about what, so, you know, in our ordinances, we have, you can have this much square footage of sign on your wall and that, so anything that would be, you know, more than that, or, you know, I think our electronic sign ordinance, you know, you have to come in for variance for that.
What about awnings?
We didn't really talk about the awning. There's a sign, although I see it says signs and awnings.
Right.
Yeah, that's a different provision in the ordinance, it's just covered in the same
Okay,
place.
yeah,
That's, just, you know, I guess on the idea of the signs, we did have an issue, you know, with sign sticking out
right,
over the sidewalks.
right.
That was a number of years ago, there was an issue with that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but,
The ones that were already downtown were grandfathered in, but they weren't allowing any new ones.
okay. I knew there was an issue with that.
So you cannot put a sign perpendicular to the building?
Right, out, that extends over the sidewalk, I believe.
Without a variance.
Without a variance, without a variance. Okay.
Any other discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 19-36, an ordinance amending Title 15 Land Usage, Chapter 1E3.
I'll make that motion and that the fee will be $100.
Okay, yeah. Is there a second?
Okay.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Jones.
March,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Marevka.
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Item C, resolutions, a resolution adopting written design standards for small wireless facilities. I think this comes back from the last board meeting. We had discussed this, but this resolution wasn't on the agenda, so we could not act on it. And I think Attorney Mar, Mike went over it at that time. Are there any questions or discussion on that?
So there's really no changes? We just-
No, that's just,
it's
we're
just
just
the rest.
needed to adopt the resolution. So this is resolution 19-R09.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee March, second by trustee Bowden.
March,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Marevka.
Yes.
Number 2, a resolution approving investment policy. So this is an updated investment policy.
And so this came out of AOC as well, as we were talking about investing the proceeds from the Aqua sale. Amy pulled out our old investment policy. I guess it really hadn't been updated in many years, and we had one of the firms that's investing our money look at it and help us kind of get us up to date. There really weren't a whole lot of changes, but this is the updated one, and if anybody has any questions about it, I'd be happy to try to answer questions for you, but it basically just lays out where the village can invest their money, and it's
A lot of it has to do with statutes.
right, exactly, yeah, so, so, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I reviewed it only for that purpose, to determine that it was lawful in accord with what we're allowed to invest in.
Will we meet with our investment company from time to time?
That's the idea, I mean, we'd like to, I think when we originally talked to them, it's something we wanted to do on a, you know, at least twice a year basis to get an update. And whether we do that in the AOC meeting, or whether, you know, you guys wanna do it at a committee of the whole, it's up to you guys.
What fee do they charge us?
Boy, do you guys remember exactly what point, they,
Technically, it was no fee, but we were buying their instruments
right.
that had a, I forget the verbiage, but it was minuscule.
So if we have them go out and buy bonds for us, for instance, there's a small, and it's actually, we got a pretty good deal. We got both First Midwest and the PFM, is that the name of the other one?
I think so, yeah.
We've got them both down to, I'm gonna say 15 basis points, which is pretty small, so. But like Trustee Bowden said, for just investing in basically it's their money market account. They're not charging us, any kind of basis points just to do that. Obviously there's underlying fees that are out in all those kind of mutual funds.
And the other current situation is the bond curve's inverted, so there's no reason to go out long any of this money,
Right.
so.
How often do they supply us with a report of how we're doing?
I'm pretty sure it'd be monthly. I mean, you have to talk to Marcy, but for sure, but we certainly ask that question.
I think you're right, though.
Yeah.
And the other advantage of go First Midwest is they're gonna take better care of some of our day-to-day cash funds. Dr. March was able to
Right.
negotiate that into the First Midwest proposal, was they would give us the higher of the hospital interest rates, and still have the money liquid from our city to be able to use. So they were both, I thought, very agreeable, very, worked with us really well.
Any other questions or discussion? Not, this would be resolution number 19-R10, a resolution approving the updated investment policy.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Ham.
March,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Marevka.
Yes.
Questions of the press? No press present. Correspondence, communications, petitions.
I said one quick thing. Would it be bad to not have all this printed out if we didn't want it printed out? If I just look at it on my iPad? Or is that an issue?
It's okay with me.
I'm of the mind, I would love to see us go a little more electronic,
Yeah.
But that's, I know, some of the trustees aren't,
Well, no, I mean,
so.
no, I'm not saying
Not-
ban
right,
paper at all,
right.
but it, I mean,
Listen,
I feel bad.
I like the idea of going basically paperless,
Yeah.
but,
I mean, I would like to have an agenda printed out.
Right.
Yes.
But the rest of it, I can look, if I can look electronically on it.
well, I think if any of the trustees wanna opt to that and not have all the paper, I think just let Donna know,
Yeah,
and then she can
I'll just make the copies and put them in the boxes and
yeah.
I'll quit sending them to you if you tell me that.
Oh, I
I would.
No, I was
Well,
pointing next to work.
But yeah, no, I
So
mean,
just
I
let me
don't,
know
that's not a
who wants
problem.
them and who doesn't.
I agree, it's a
Okay.
lot of paper.
Okay.
So yeah, if anybody wants to do that, just let Donna know. Anything else?
The last meeting, we had some discussion about that swimming pool temporary out there.
Yeah.
Is that going to the building?
It's going to the building committee,
Okay.
yeah, I've referred that to the building committee, and I think the meeting tomorrow night?
All right.
Yeah, so we're gonna review that, look at it,
Perfect.
see if we can tighten that up.
What
Anything
time's your
else?
meeting?
6:30.
5:30, 6.
6 o'clock. I think the Historical Society has their event this upcoming Sunday, I believe, I'm trying to remember the times.
Yeah.
I think it's 11, is it 11?
Usually 11 to
Yeah,
4.
3, 4,
Yeah.
something like that.
So, last week we talked a lot about cannabis.
Mhm.
And I personally been doing some informal surveying of different people, both in town and out of town and stuff, and surprisingly, people are much more open to the idea of us allowing cannabis in town. And I was just wondering, what's our, because we have to opt out.
We have to opt out if we're gonna opt out. We don't necessarily have to opt in, but we wanna make sure that we protect ourselves through our zoning.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so we kind of just have to decide, you know, if we're gonna allow dispensaries.
We got a whole thing we gotta discover.
Right,
And decide on.
exactly. So I think maybe that's something that we can talk about at committee of the whole,
Okay,
you know, at the end of this month.
yeah, I'm just
and-
trying to put
and get
together a
some-
timeframe,
right.
what do we have to do?
No,
by
I
when?
think that's really, I think if we have to decide what, if we're gonna not opt out, what we're going to allow,
Right.
and then how we're going to protect it through the zoning code.
So it doesn't come along until January,
January,
Right.
yeah,
But come January, somebody could,
right?
correct,
if we don't opt out,
Correct.
somebody could come in and say, I'm here.
correct. But yeah, so I think we can definitely put that on committee of the whole, for the end of the month.
Okay.
Talk about it a little bit more and get a general direction from the board.
Yeah, and I'd like to get some information on, I don't know, if the attorneys can do this, or Amy can look into it, but, you know, what kind of companies or businesses are gonna be able to get these licenses? I mean, my understanding is it's gonna be a pretty high bar financially to get
Yeah, I
a
mean,
license.
I've read the licenses are very expensive, even the application, I think it's a non-refundable application fee that has to be paid.
Yeah,
And initially though, the ones that are gonna open are gonna be the medicals, but those that are gonna open for, they have to have a medical to open,
Well, the medicals have to apply for the new one too.
right,
But those will be a lot easier to deal with. A new one that is not a medical dispensary, you know, based on the medical, what is a bigger application, you know, it's gonna be more complicated. But you're right, the state is, you know, controlling it to a certain extent, but you'll want to too. I don't know, did you get our frequently asked
Yep.
questions?
Yes.
Yeah, that was very helpful.
Yes.
We've got a few other things. I think we're doing a presentation at the municipal league conference. Somebody in the office is, I don't know who, not me, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Somebody has worked that up, I saw it. And I'm sure they'll have some more there, you know, too. People will be talking about it.
Yeah, like I said,
It's of
I've been
interest.
talking to old and young people, and I've gotten a surprisingly diverse amount of
Yeah.
people saying, if you guys don't do this, you're nuts, because this is.
They'll do
this
it
is
next
how it
door.
rolls,
Right.
And you'll lose all that potential to, oh my God, this is gonna attract the Grateful Dead followers, and you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just, the gamut is wide open, and so it's like, oh gosh, but people have a lot of opinions
A
about
lot of
this.
opinions on this, yes, there are, just like there were with the gaming, you know, the same issue.
Does it be more proactive as opposed to.
No, absolutely. And Amy and I had talked about that, and we had talked about bringing it back to the committee of the whole.
Okay.
We'll hopefully have a little more in-depth discussion about it.
If residents wanna voice their opinion, the committee of the whole is the
Absolutely,
place to do it.
no, absolutely,
Okay.
definitely. Anything else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Parker, seconded by trustee Jones.
Parker,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
March.
Yes.
Maravka?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
And Ham.
yes.
Meeting is adjourned.